G'day everyone and welcome to another Airbrush Asylum Live. Thanks for joining me for the Eye of Ra Part 2. I'm looking to finish this artwork off from last week. So for those of you that joined last week, thank you for watching along. You'll know what step we got up to. If you haven't seen last week's one, then check out today's, stick with us live, and then after the live, jump back and watch the replay. It'll be available on YouTube and Rumble, as well as Facebook, so you can always go back and watch and catch up. But right now, let's just get into the live. We'll jump into some comments as well. We've got a few people on here already having a bit of a chat with Megs. Megs is in the comments, moderating as per usual. She's only missed 1 week so far, doing a great job, and I can see she's got a bit of a nickname now, Mrs. Asylum, so we can definitely run with that. And hello to you, Rob. We've also got Knife Maker Mike in here. All right, let's go. Yes, 100% pumped for this today. We've got Brian Keller. Hello, everyone. Good to see you again, Brian. Can't wait to get this party started. We've got Warlock. Hey, everyone. Chuck. I think I put you up already, but we'll put you up again. Chuck, back to see the finished eye. Good to see you, mate. Eddie. Hey, good day and greetings from the Netherlands. Thanks for tuning in all the way from the Netherlands. Appreciate it. Hi from Venezuela. Carlos, how are you? And sorry, wrong one. Rap Daddy, hi. G'day. And we have Addy watching on Twitch. Hello over there on Twitch for everyone that's watching over there. Appreciate you. So we've got a fair few people in already, about 20 people in here. So if you wouldn't mind, let's share it out while we can before I get started on the artwork. Another quick mention, we have a new sponsor on board for the next 4 live streams. So a huge thank you to Body Shop Paint Supplies in Seaford. And I'll just put up a little quick video to show you what these guys do. So you can see they do lots of color matching, color mixing. They do aerosols, all of your automotive paint supplies, pretty much anything that you're after. They have it. Spray guns, the works. They even sell some airbrushes. So a huge, huge thank you to Body Shop Paint Supplies in Seaford. And also jump on Instagram and check them out over there on Instagram. And if you wouldn't mind, give them a follow. That'd be great. So they are working on a website as well. Currently, that is under construction. So if you do go to their URL, that's why I'm pushing everyone to the Instagram. That is in the process at the moment. They've got a lot of stock that they've got to upload on there. But thanks to the team over there at Body Shop Paint Supplies in Seaford for sponsoring this stream. Really appreciate you guys. And yeah, if you wouldn't mind, show them some love. We've got Dan here, and he's just chatting to Brian. So that's fine. That's fine. Good little chats. Oh, here we go. He says hello. G'day. G'day, Dan. We've got Smurfy. Sorry, I missed a few comments. Hello, hello from Canada. Thanks for joining. Yeah, so lots of people in here. This is great. Someone from Italy. Thank you for watching. Trick Ballack. James Jordan from Chicago. G'day, James. And DJ Healy is tuning in as well. Hello, hello. Thanks for joining. All right. So let's just jump over quickly and see where we got to last week. So this was last week's efforts. So for those of you that didn't join, I'm going to last week or hadn't seen last week's or haven't had the chance to watch the replay, let me just go ahead and explain where we got up to. So basically, just let me switch to this screenshot here. Okay, so this is the reference image that I've been using. So you can see I have already, let me just see if I can get this picture up as well. Hang on a sec. Just give me 2 seconds. I'm going to try something. That one and that one maybe. No. There we go. We'll stick with that for the moment. That'll make it a bit easier to see what's going on. All right, so you can see over on the left there the image that I got to, which is obviously this one. So looking at our reference image, I've done the blue. We've done basically a yellow tone. We've shaded over that with some transparent orange, and then come in with a sepia tone, or sepia, whatever way you want to explain it, and rendered out the eye from there. So now what I want to do is I want to focus on adding in some highlights. And then once the highlights are done, I want to come in with a detail tone. Okay, so that's the plan for today. And then hopefully that will finish the Eye of Ra off. So we'll go back to this one. So for those of you that need to get a screenshot, may as well do that now while I have a quick sip of coffee. So get that so that you can follow along. And let's switch over to this one. So I'm just going to use the Micron at the moment. I've already put some white in the airbrush so that we can move right along a bit quicker today. And let's see how this performs. I haven't used this Micron for quite some time, so it's always a bit of a gamble, but you know, that's fine. If things go a bit haywire, well, then I can show you how to fix issues. Okay. So starting with the white, I want to work in a spot where I've got a bit of leeway. Okay, so I don't want to obviously go into the main areas straight off the bat. I want to find and make sure that the white is working well enough so that if I do make a mistake, we can adjust. So I'm going to go into this little bit here, this texture tone. And I also forgot to mention that I did add some gold as well in on this piece. Now, the reason I do the white, so I can see this is having a bit of a hissy fit already. So that's all right. I've got plenty of airbrushes here, so I can switch if I need be. Let's see if we can get this working. If not, I'll just switch it out. Might actually need a bit more reducer. Bear with me. The joys of live streaming. Okay. No, this isn't liking it. All right, give me a sec. I'm going to switch out to another brush. Disconnect that one for the moment. I'm going to tip this into the side feed Takumi, and we're going to run with that. And I am going to drop the PSI down a little bit. So this Micron hasn't been used for a while. I'm sort of rotating through different brushes, and I think it might need a new nozzle. So I'm not going to bother trying to explain all that or do that on the stream. Got a bit of scrap cardboard here to make sure this one's performing. And this, yeah, this one's working better. I might just drop my PSI down a little bit. So currently it's pretty high. It's about 30 to 40 PSI. So just for this brush in particular, I'll tune it down and drop it more if I need be. All right, let's try that again. Yeah, that's much better. Probably better anyway using a side feed for this. So with the white, just gradually build it up and only hit those highlighted areas. Now, the reason I'm doing the white before the dark tone or the final sepia tone is because then that will clean up the rest of the white overspray if there is any. So I'm trying to be nice and tight with this, obviously. But you are still going to get little bits of overspray here and there. It's just inevitable with white. So don't get disheartened if that does happen to you. It happens to me as well. And by doing your dark tone afterwards just allows you to clean that up. I just feel it gives it a much better look, much better end result. So So just adding a little bit along here. Now this is opaquing on that gold, so we are eliminating the gold look. Now, if I was going to spend a lot more time on this, and let's say for argument's sake I was going to clear coat it, I'll give you a little tip with what you do with white. I used to do this all the time when I had a metallic base, because there's nothing worse than having a chalky white look when you clear coat your artwork, but there is a solution. And the way you eliminate that is you do what I'm doing here. So you go ahead and you airbrush in all the white, but then you get a pearl. So generally you'd use, I used to use an automotive pearl, and I would actually get this from Body Shop Paint Supplies in Seaford, because that's who used to supply me all the automotive paint before I moved more to the water-based paints. But it's very, very invisible, the pearl. It's very hard to see when you're painting it on. So I would spray that then over all the white areas. And what that would do, it would just give it that shimmer. So the white pearl would sit on top of your white airbrushing, and then when you cleared it, you would no longer have that chalky, horrible look that you'd get if you just went with the white. So for anyone that's doing automotive style work, keep that in mind. It should help you out. So I'm just coming along here as well and adding in some of those white highlights. So just bit by bit, stippling. So just kind of paint on, paint off. Very subtly though, and that's giving you that uneven texture. You could go and grab a freehand template and do that, no problem at all. And I notice there is a super chat, so I will get to that in a moment. So for those watching on YouTube, you can prioritize your question by super chatting. It is not essential, but it's obviously appreciated. And it will highlight your question so that I don't miss it. For anyone else that wants to ask a question, if you can please put a Q in front of your question when typing it in the comments would be handy, because then I can skip through and easily identify it. Okay, I've got a bit of white on there. Let me just attend to this super chat and then we'll get back into some painting. All right, let's go back to here. I'll just go and find this. And again, our friend Asmodane, keeping the streak going. Appreciate the videos and the knowledge you share. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. I want to see if I can do something here. Let's see if this works, if you guys can hear it. Can you hear the applause? Hopefully you heard the applause. Well, there you go. There's a bit of applause for you. Thank you very much yet again for another super chat. Really appreciate it. And while I'm here, let me just jump into some of these comments. Just scroll back. Let me just scroll back. Okay. Okay, so we've got Ronald from Texas. G'day, Ronald. Nice convos going on. Just on task. Hey. How are you? Okay. Yes, Meg's just reminded me there will be an online course draw. So I am going to be doing that. We'll give away an online course later in this video at some stage. So you've got to be present to win that. So stick around for that. The online course, here's some info about it. And currently until the end of March, we've got 25% off if you use checkout code Asylum 25 at checkout. Okay, so feel free to do that. Hello, everyone. From Henry Sanchez, hello. Again, Asmodane, thanks once again. I appreciate you. Okay, question. What are your favorite subjects to paint? To be honest with you, Brian, I like doing sort of more the dark sort of stuff. Like I love my skulls. I love even doing flames, I enjoy doing them. Anything sort of darker, any sort of, you know, villains, that sort of thing, I've always enjoyed painting those sort of things, more on the darker edge. I don't know why, I think it's just, they always look cooler to me. And I don't know, if you make a mistake, you can kind of, it's easier to hide it. It's like, so for argument's sake, if you're painting a female portrait or a baby portrait, they're extremely difficult to do. If you make a mistake on that, you can't just, you know, add a bit more drool here and there, or maybe on the baby one you could, but yeah, you might get in a bit of trouble. So yeah, just, that's what I like to paint. But yeah, appreciate the question. Well, there you go. Megs has already answered it for me. Oh, where is it? Carsten loves skulls and flames. I do. Been drawing skulls since I was in grade 6. So, yep. Oh, thank you. Looks amazing, George said. Someone's chatting to Megs here. Mrs. Asylum, my wife wants you to add fairies for an idea. Nice, nice. YouTube is so busy. Yeah, there's a few people on Facebook. I'll see if I can bring them up here. Appreciate all of you watching. Oh, Stacey Lawrence is on. Thanks, Stacey, for watching from Facebook. Hello to you, and appreciate the kind words, really art. Ian, how are you, mate? Good to see you. I hope you're enjoying your Creos, by the way. Thanks for joining. Thanks for joining. Oh, another super chat here. Brian Moore, thank you very much. Flaming Skulls for the win. 100%. Thank you, and appreciate your support. Appreciate the super chat. You're a legend. Thank you very much, and appreciate you tuning in every week too. Another question. Do you ever use inks? I used to back in the day. I'm trying to remember what the ink was called. I think it was like, was it Liquitex? I used to use Liquitex, but there was another brand. It slipped my mind. Anyway, yes, I did for a period, but for what I was doing, I did a lot of automotive painting. It didn't really suit for that. I didn't do that much illustration stuff. So yeah, that's why I moved over to the, you know, the Createx paints, Trident paints, that sort of thing. So hope that answers your question. For me, it's hard to say now it's ready. Yes, that's true. You never know. Sometimes you can overdo it. Let me just take this banner off. Sorry, guys. Yeah, sometimes you can overdo it. Just stick with it. Keep going. But yeah, you want to be careful not to overcook it. So my rule of thumb is generally as you move through the artwork, you should be painting less. Right? So you should be doing more of your underpainting. That should take more time. And then, you know, less work as you go through. So hope that makes sense. And while I've got a quick chance, let me just chuck this banner up to our sponsors, Body Shop. Thank you very much, guys, for sponsoring this stream. And let me get back to some highlights while that's up. And give them a follow on Instagram if you wouldn't mind. That'd be handy. And I'll just chuck the comments up on the screen too so you can see you guys chatting away. Okay. Let's keep moving along for a bit, and I'll come back to the comments. And thanks again to Asmodane and Brian for the super chat. Very, very generous of you guys. All right, so picking out this wet spot along here. And if you're wondering what airbrush I'm using, I'm currently using the Iwata Eclipse Takumi. So this is a side feed brush. Has a 0.35mm needle nozzle setup. So virtually the Eclipse with a side feed cup. This is the beauty of doing eyes and stuff like that. The highlights really make it pop and bring everything to life. So this is where you want to be squinting your eye and looking at your design. Now, there is another technique that you can use that was shown to me by Drew Blair if you want to sort of focus more on the photorealism. It's not something that I do a lot, but let me just give you a demo. So this is the reference image. I did forget to mention this. So I printed it to scale. So on the back, you can see it was sketched out. And then what I did was I just colored over it with a HB pencil. So on the back's a 2B pencil, right? And then I went over the top with an HB to transfer it onto the wood panel. Now, what you can do is if you use this method, right, and you've printed it to scale, you can then lay this over the top of your artwork, okay, like so. Obviously, you wouldn't want to use this one because it's got all of this horrible sketching on there. But let's say you printed a nice reference image to scale. You can then use this to cut out paper templates. So for argument's sake, something like this I would probably cut out, and some of maybe the pupil in here, just to get a really defined edge, especially if you're starting out. It'll help you out. But the key, and this is what Drew teaches, so all credit to him, is you can flick like this. If you flick really fast and you're looking at your artwork while you're doing it, then you can see exactly where certain highlights have to sit. You can see exactly where the shadows need to sit. So that's a little bit of a trick. I hope Drew doesn't mind me sharing that with you guys. I'm sure he doesn't. But yeah, a little trick by Drew Blair there, and a little handy tip if you are wanting to be a bit more accurate, a bit more photorealism, and ensure that you've got every highlight where it needs to sit. Well, then that's what you need to be doing. It'll make it a lot easier. But as you know, with me, I prefer to just sort of paint and let the artwork sort of evolve. And if it changes a little bit, I mean, you can tell this is not by all means photorealistic to the reference. And I'm cool with that. I'll put some lashes in here as well while it can. Now, if you're not unsure, but if you're not confident doing lashes like this with an airbrush, as you can see, I'm getting tip drying. It's not that easy. So like little dagger strokes. Then what I would recommend is using a brush. All right, so don't be scared to use mixed media. If you need to, use it. Whatever you need to use to be able to create the end result, and a successful end result is what you should do. I actually enjoy mixing up artwork with the brush, and you can really get a sense of depth by using a paintbrush with an airbrush. You know, you can use the airbrush for all of your softer, smoother areas, and then that paintbrush can come in and give you the defined look, and that'll create a real sense of, you know, 3D. And again, we will be giving away our online course, or one of our online courses, later in the stream, but you need to be present to win it. It's going to drop that PSI a bit as well. The paint's kind of run through now, and it's a bit thinner than it was before. I still think I had it, you know, because I mixed the reducer in the cup, it was a little bit thicker. So just running that down, that PSI, so that we can control that a bit easier. Quite a few little like wet spots in here. So just nice little dots. Like so. So you can see how the white really picks it up really quickly, changes the look of the artwork. Sorry, I'm just rehydrating for the moment before this goes cold. All right. Reference image for you guys. So just to quickly have a look at what we're doing here. So you can see I'm working in sort of this area here. You can see there's heaps more detail that you could put in. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing all of that because we'd be here for hours and hours and hours. So I'm just modifying it, give it a cool look without overcooking it. And 32 people in here at the moment across multiple platforms. So if you wouldn't mind sharing it out, would be great. I mean, if you haven't already, either subscribe or follow on whichever platform you're watching on. Running a bit of a highlight through here. Stippling through this area as well. Going to put a highlight in here. And one on this side. Build it up. This paint's fairly thin. I do like to run my paint super thin, but that means I have to keep moving from side to side just to coat it. You can see it's, you know, easily you can get a wet spot. So come back here and blend some of this highlight down. So this is the one that you could definitely use a paper template on. It would be a little bit easier and would actually be more accurate to the reference. Even though I'm making an effort to stay nice and tight with my highlights, it still is hard to get a completely defined edge. Now I'll run some of this white in here as well, just to put in a bit of detail and veins in the eye. Now white definitely tip dries a lot, so just be wary of that. That's why I like it super thin. But you can see by running it thin, you have to do multiple coats. So you just got to work out what works best for you. Okay, so the highlights are starting to shape that a bit more. So let me just jump into these comments quickly, see who's in here. Okay. All right, so Brian, we've got Ron in here. G'day, Ron. We've got Dread Effects Custom Paint. G'day, mate. How you doing? He's got a great YouTube channel on here, so definitely check out his stuff as well. He does some awesome work. Hey, Rob. You guys are just chatting. That's fine. We've got Ronald. And a few more combos going on. Universal Cat. Blimey, nearly missed it. Like to see this painting getting finished. Yeah, me too. I'll try my best. We should get it done. Okay, let's get back into it. So you guys just feel free to chat. I'll keep painting. Megs is in there moderating and answering most of your questions. She does a good job at that. So, and just keep in mind, if you do have a question, if you wouldn't mind putting a Q in front of it, makes it easier for me to find it when I skip through. So just build it up. Be careful with white, you can easily overdo it. I'm just going to come back in here because it got a bit wet and just dust back over that. Build it up, let it dry. So using the air to dry it and gradually making it brighter and brighter. And just checking over what I've done so far. Start to bring some lashes in through here. I'm not too stressed at the moment about how accurate these are. I'm just sort of putting them in because I've got to come in with that darker tone. I'll be coming in with like a transparent black, and that'll clean everything up and also create more depth. We've had a few people send in their images and progress of their Eye of Ra. So if you have been working on it, I'd love to see it. Definitely flick it through, and if you are going to post it on socials, then tag us and we can reshare it for you as well. Always love seeing what you guys are doing with all this info that I'm providing for you. Okay, we're going to move into this area now. So let me just scroll out. So this bit now under here, I'm going to start to work through some white highlights on here, and then we'll be near enough to getting up to the transparent black. What I might do though is I think I'm going to add a bit more white into this cup just to thicken it up a little bit. Yeah, I'm just finding that it's a bit too thin. So just bear with me for a sec. Actually, what I'll do is I'll just jump over here and see if anyone's got some questions. I don't think so. Good combos going on. Another question from Brian. Do you ever do scullified images like a scullified Batman, for example? I haven't. It's a good idea, that's for sure. I stay away from anything that's IP, basically. I had a meeting probably over a year ago now with our copyright lawyer. I actually want to get him on here, to be honest, to talk about it, because I think a lot of people don't realize that, you can't just go ahead and paint stuff that you don't own the rights to. Yes, there is fair use, 100%, but personally, I wouldn't risk it on this channel. I mean, I've done a few things in the past, like I've done a painting of the Joker and some stuff like that back in the day before I had too much knowledge on it, but it's a very gray area. Yes, you can get away with it, but yeah, you should always look into either asking permission, or if you are going to do someone else's work, so another artist's work, then I always reach out to them directly and ask if that's okay with them. So yeah, it's just a gray area. It's just a hard one. And obviously, because I earn money over here, I've got to be very careful. If you're doing it for yourself, that's fine. But I love the idea, so I might have to run that by him. But I think yeah, maybe getting him on at some stage would be a good idea, because I think a lot of people have questions for someone that actually knows legally where you would stand. Because, yeah, fair use is a very gray area, but love the idea. All right, see if there's any other questions. Jonathan's saying it's looking awesome. Thank you very much. We're getting there. We're getting there. Yeah, just a reminder, if anyone needs anything from us, reach out to us on info@airbrushasylum.com.au, and we can help you out. Even international shipping, no problem at all. This one here. You could do a scullified pharaoh. That's a good idea. Yes. So I've done zombie sort of stuff like that. It's just when it's IP, like you said with the Batman. I love the idea. Don't get me wrong. Absolutely love it. But yeah, I try and stay away from it now. Time-wise, like Meg said, about 3 to 4 hours. It's hard because I'm chatting, obviously, on this live stream. I'm not just painting flat out. So I'll probably say so far, I maybe say 2.5 hours solid painting, maybe. Question: does thinning the white create the transparent look more so than a candy? Not with the white, because this white is a opaque white. So because they've got titanium in their white to get coverage, it's very hard to make it transparent. You could add it to a transparent base, but generally white, you would want that to be more of a opaque paint so that you can use it for highlights and stuff like that. So hopefully that answers your question. Thanks for that question, Rap Daddy. Okay, let's keep going. Start getting some detail, like I said, through this area here. Okay, and then I'm hoping to jump onto the transparent black, and we can start to really detail it. So with that white, again, just adding it in, kind of no rhyme or reason really, following what I've got, but not being too strict with it. And you'll find now that I've thickened this paint up, I'm going to get a bit more tip drying, but I'm going to get quicker coverage, which is kind of what I want. it'll speed up my painting a little bit. And I've got to obviously keep it somewhat entertaining. You don't want to be watching this and actually watching it as if, you know, watching paint dry. It's got to be a bit more interesting than that. So what I can do now is up the PSI as well on the compressor so that it helps to push that thicker paint through. White is always a bit of a fine line as far as, you know, getting the mix right. What I generally do is I'll have pre-mixed whites, and then that way I know that they're sort of thin to my liking. I try not to use pre-mixed colors on these streams, even though it'll make it easier for me. I sort of want you guys to see how I start off as far as, you know, if I'm putting in the paint straight out of the bottle and it's too thick, what am I doing to fix it? So that's why a lot of the techniques that I would use to make life a bit easier, I don't implement with these live streams. Even with the airbrushes, I try not to even check them, and that's why I had an issue with the micron. I probably should, but I figure if there's a problem, then that way I can try and fix that issue on stream, and you guys are going to learn more. Generally, if you keep your airbrush clean, you don't really need to do that much. It's just about getting your paint mix right, your PSI settings. So mine, the general airbrushing of between 30 to 40 PSI. If I'm doing detailed stuff, that's when I'll drop it down to 18 to 20 PSI and overthin my paint. But you work with what works best for you, because it'll also, the humidity in your studio will impact this, what kind of compressor you're using. Some people might not have adequate moisture traps and regulators. So that way, I'm just going to spin this around a little bit, hopefully without you guys. Just change that camera a bit. Yeah, you've got to be careful, because if you're painting in a very humid climate, then you're going to have more issues with tip drying. You'll need more moisture traps to deal with the moisture that will naturally happen. And you get that regardless. But in a humid environment, you're going to find you're going to have more moisture issues. So that's when you want to have little filtration systems that help to avoid that getting into your air line. Because as you can imagine, you don't want moisture in your air, because that could then come through your airbrush and spurt out on your artwork. And trust me, I've had that happen. Not fun. Good way to check. And I actually do this in, I've got a video about moisture on the channel. So you probably type in moisture issues, Airbrush Asylum, and find it. But I show you using the IS975 compressor, and I give you a demonstration. And what I do is I'll take the airbrush, so I'll let it pump up to full capacity. Then I'll undo this part, kink the hose, and then get a bit of paper or something like that. And you'll see straight away when you let go, once all that air pressure comes through, you'll see whether or not you've got moisture coming out. And even worse if you've got, say, oil. I mean, the IS975 is oilless, so you don't have that issue with that. But the compressor I'm using at the moment has oil in it. It's just a silent fridge motor compressor, and it's in a soundproof box just under the bench here. But yeah, I've got to monitor that one. But to combat moisture, the general rule of thumb is have a moisture trap. There's usually a moisture trap and regulator on your compressor anyway. But let's say you're not using a dedicated airbrushing compressor, then I would have another moisture trap regulator on your bench that's close to where you are airbrushing. And all of the air lines going to that, you want to run them so that it moves upwards on a slight incline or up the wall. That way you are avoiding that water, like it's not going to move up, if that makes sense, or gravity. Just think of gravity. It's not going to allow that water or moisture to move up into your airline. I will get back to some comments soon. I just want to get some painting done. So I'll get this white done and then I'll jump into comments and then we'll move on to the dark tone. So if you have any questions, you can either super chat if you're on YouTube. And they're not essential, but obviously they're welcome. Really appreciate it if you do that. And that'll highlight your question. If not, you can put a Q in front of your question and I'll try and find it when I sift through the comments. And sometimes Meg will go in and answer them before I do. So if I do put it up on screen and answer it again, and I give you a slightly different answer, then that may happen as well. She's got plenty of knowledge as far as airbrushing is concerned. She's been around this for a long time, so she'll probably give you the same answer anyway, but you might have two different opinions, which can be handy. Okay. So let's just jump into the reference for a minute. So look, I'm pretty much happy with what I've got in through this area here. Again, I could spend hours and hours of extra time just finalizing everything and getting it really tweaked. But the only bit I'm noticing is I'll need to add a bit more in here as far as highlights are concerned. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and then I'll jump into the questions and we will switch to the black. Spin this around. So I'll jump into these areas here now. So just a bit of texture through here. Texture through here. Okay. Let me just give you a close-up of where we're at. So you can see all of that texture in there, that white. Okay, so again, if I was doing this and not on a live stream and I had hours and hours to put into it, then I would definitely come in and tighten all this up. But I'm going to show you how even doing it loosely like this and then coming in fairly tight with that dark tone, you're still going to get a really effective end result. And that's what it's all about. All right, so let me now come back to these comments. All right, so let's see what we've got here. Okay, just going back through, see if I can find any, lots of chatting going on, which is good. Okay, so I was up to here before. Okay. Someone's suggesting a famous album covers Iron Maiden, Power Slave. Yes. Yeah, I love a bit of Maiden, definitely. Brian saying how to show alternate light sources like the glow of a flame or on the side of a skull or something. Yes, one of the Halloween artworks that I did, the skeleton on Halloween night, has a bit of that glow going on. But yeah, great idea. I'd actually like that. I thought about maybe doing a candle. I thought that would be kind of cool. People just chatting. Yes, again, thanks to our amazing sponsors for this stream, Body Shop Paint Supplies in Seaford. And if you wouldn't mind following them on Instagram would be fantastic. I'm trying to help them build their Instagram following for them. And obviously they've been kind enough to sponsor the stream. So yeah, jump over to Instagram and find them on Body Shop Paint Supplies. They're sponsoring the next 4 streams. Okay, we've got a question from Brian. Any tips on the weight and thickness, also on accuracy? On line weight and thickness, also on accuracy. Okay, so lines. That's a good question. It's kind of a hard one to explain, to be honest. You've sort of baffled me. Excuse me. So I think the thickness of your line depends on what you're doing. If you need it to be completely thin and fine, as you will see when we go on, there'll be areas in this eye artwork that will be extremely tight and sharp, and there'll be other areas where it's not as defined. So you use that to your advantage to create that, in a sense of depth. Okay, so you've got to look at your reference image, use your reference as a guide. Again, if you want to do complete photorealism, well, then you need to be a bit more specific with where you're putting things and being a bit more accurate. If you want to do it similar to the way I paint so that it's a bit looser, you've got your own style at the end of it, but you're still using that reference as a guide, well, then you can make up which way you want to go about it. You just got to think about shapes and shadows. And I don't even like calling it a line. I prefer saying like a tight shadow, a finer shadow, because everything's built up of shapes and shadows, shapes and highlights, shadows and highlights, but in different shapes, if that makes sense. Okay, so I hope that answers your question. Let's just see if there's any others. James Jordan just saying, this is so cool seeing you do this live stream. I appreciate that. Really appreciate it. I hope it is entertaining and enough value for you guys. Really appreciate it. And yes, this is so true. Robbie says, practice your drills. Practice, practice, practice. And then when you're done, practice more. Couldn't agree more. And that's why, honestly, our online course, without, trying to basically promote the hell out of it, but it is really good for that. And currently it is 25% off if you use Asylum 25 at checkout. Now, if for whatever reason you can't find the coupon code, reach out to us. Don't just go ahead and buy it at $1.99. It should reduce the price if you do it correctly. So before you hit buy, make sure that price is reduced from $1.99 and you got the 25% off. But practice is key. And that's what I was explaining. In the online course, there is the first sort of part of the course is all about basic skills. And a lot of people may find that boring, but to be honest with you, that is probably the most important part out of everything. So once you master those basic skills, lines, dots, shadows, highlights, dagger strokes, all of that stuff, you will then be able to create whatever artwork it is that you want to create. Without those fundamental skills and really honing in on them, you are going to struggle. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay, let's turn that off. Okay. And look, before I jump over to the next bit, for those of you that don't know anything about Body Shop, these guys are sponsoring our live stream. They have a shop here in Melbourne, Victoria. So Body Shop Paint Supplies Seaford, supplying all of your body shop paint needs, meaning, you know, masking tapes, fillers, even spray guns, all that sort of stuff. And if you wouldn't mind, give them a follow on Instagram at Body Shop Paint Supplies in Seaford. Thanks again to them for sponsoring this stream. Okay. Brian says he tries to practice 1 to 2 times a week, but life gets away. Yes, I know. It's hard. It's hard. And we've got, procrastination. Yeah, that's a big part of it. And I'm probably the worst at that too. Meeks can vouch for that. I'm better now, but I heard a saying once, and it was done is better than perfect. And I sort of try and stick to that. Otherwise, you just be painting and painting and painting, and you never think it's finished. So just get it done and move on to the next one, learn from what you've done, and then go from there. All right, before I jump back into the artwork, Brian's got one last question. What do you think about polishing your airbrush needle, and what would you use? Another great question. I don't do it myself. Let's see if I've got one here. I do occasionally use the sharpener. This is a great needle tool. Very, very handy. So they are great. You can definitely pick them up. I think SPRAYGUNNER sell them. You probably even find them on Amazon or get them direct from from Sharpener. Coast Airbrush might also sell them, so check that out. But these are a great tool, and they have little polishing stones in there that will polish your needle, and they also fix if you've got a hook or a bend in your needle. Look, I don't tend to go through parts that much. If you look after it, obviously if you drop it, yes, that's a problem. But if you look after your brush, look, I don't go through nozzles and needles often at all. Okay, so hope that helps. Now what I want to do is I think we can start to move on to finalizing the transparent black shading. So what I want to do is with that, obviously come into these areas here, sharpen up around here, and basically just give this whole thing some depth, okay? So I've put the highlights in. We've got that in there. Now it's time to really shape it with that darker tone, okay? So let's switch back to this camera. I'm going to fix this up a bit for you guys, like so. And I need to grab an airbrush. We use the Creos and some transparent black. And I need to turn the PSI up again. You can hear how that's so much lower. I've got the Mac valve on there, but I like to feed in a bit more PSI. And keep in mind, guys, at the end of this or towards the end, I am going to be giving away one of our online courses to a lucky viewer, but you do have to be present in the stream to win. So stick around. Okay. Some transparent black. This is from a previous artwork that I did. I don't know if any of you guys saw on, Megs has posted a few photos recently of it actually, but it was an eagle trike. You can see eagle trike, dark tone. I absolutely love this mix. And it's years and years old and it still performs. So if you store your paint correctly, it works fine. But it's a really nice tone. You know, nice and dark, but also transparent enough to not eliminate too many of those details that I've put in. And before I start, I've just noticed another question's come in. Play to all wins. Question everyone. I love the painting style of Giga. Yes, so do I. That's actually the reason I got into airbrushing. I saw some of his books when I first was trying to get into graphic design. Absolutely loved his stuff, and huge fan, huge fan. have been to his museum, have been to the bar, and have met his wife, luckily. Potentially could have met him. He was still alive back then when we were in Europe. That was in 2008. But unfortunately, we were doing a world trip at the time, Megs and I, and we had a very tight itinerary, so I couldn't get to Zurich to meet him, which was a shame. And now, obviously, he's passed away, which is sad. But yes, amazing, amazing artist. And seeing the originals and all of the chairs and the stuff that he had, even in the bar, was just mind-blowing. I should actually put some photos up of that, so thanks for reminding me. But play to all wins. Thanks for the question. And yes, absolutely love Giga's work. And it is Giga, by the way. She made sure to let me know, because I think I said Geiger, but it's actually pronounced Giga. So there you go. Right, let's get back into this. Let's take that off. We'll chuck these comments up there and we can start shaping. Okay, so with the dark tone, I always like to start in a safe area. So let's just start here and we can see how that looks. So I'm pretty happy with that. Once you're happy, then you've got to be a bit more careful now. And I'm just going to start to really shape this artwork and get it finished off. Now I'm going to work that dark transparent black back into these highlights, and that's going to crisp them up a little bit. Got a bit of a shadow that runs along this one. More defined through here. And like I said earlier, we're going to work back into some of these to sharpen them. I want to be sharp along this edge as well. Around here is a bit softer, so a bit further away. Chase that edge, paint on, paint off. And then blend back in. So I'm going to bring that shading back across, like so. That way I can control the overspray. Shade back over here. And there's a little shadow along there as well. And run a shadow along there. So if you're not confident using a dark tone like this, you can mix up a lighter version. And when I say lighter, I don't mean add white. I mean add some transparent base. So what you do is you would not add as many drops of the black and have it more transparent. So essentially it's going to be not as strong. I'll probably come back in. I don't really like that. I'm actually going to just switch back to my white for 2 seconds and clean that up so that that highlight looks a bit better. It looks a bit ugly. So you can see there's also issues that I have. It's not always just smooth sailing. And now I've got to drop this down because I'm back on the Takumi. I'll just drop the PSI down a little bit. But I think it's important for you guys to see. So just gonna, this is the part where if you're not happy, you need to clean it up. I'm still getting used to talking and painting. I've done it plenty of times when I've run my beginners courses, and it's a lot easier doing real basic stuff, but when you're doing an artwork like this and you have to speak at the same time, it can get a bit more difficult. All right, so just going over some of those, but I'm happier with that. This is the highlight that kind of needs to be a bit more defined, need to be a bit more accurate with it. And I think that definitely looks better. Okay. I'm happy with that. It's good. Good, good, good. Switch back to the black, or the transparent black, should I say. You can see even with that transparent black that's already starting to shape it a lot more. You might start hearing a bit of rain. I think there's a bit of a storm coming here in Melbourne. Anyone that lives here will know Melbourne is about 4 seasons in a day. So we can have rain as we do now, and then in an hour's time it'll be sunny and maybe 30 degrees. So it's very unpredictable. No consistency whatsoever. Can be a good thing when we have those 42-degree days, and it's a real dry heat, so it's extremely hot. Then at least we get the next day or two, we'll get a 20-degree day. It's like someone's flipped on the air conditioning. So just working back through some of these lashes. So you can see I painted them in, and now I'm doing it in reverse. So I'm essentially leaving those sections in there, and then using that black to shape them. I'm just going to quickly zoom in on this reference so I can get a better understanding of how that section's looking. So again, like I said earlier, with the darker tones, you should be painting less. Add in this texture freehand. This is where you got to be careful. Paint what you see. blending out from this area here where there's a bit of shading going on. Still a shadow that runs across there. Couldn't see a lot of this before because I had it zoomed out, and I'm sort of looking at the reference on a screen but on an angle. It's kind of hard to see where I'm at. Oh, and thanks to everyone that watches us on YouTube as well. We had a really cool achievement. We just passed 40 million views on the channel. So huge thank you to each and every one of you that sticks around here, spends your valuable time watching me paint and yap on, as well as tuning into all of our other videos. So over the years that we've been doing it, really appreciate it. And a huge thanks to Megs. Without her, this all wouldn't be possible. Even though she's not in front of the camera, she is the machine that works behind the scenes. And let me tell you, there's a lot of work that goes in behind the scenes that you guys don't see. I mean, just dealing with comments at the moment is enough. She also deals with other social platforms and all the comments over there. Organizes meetings and writes back to our emails and deals with sponsors. And so, yeah, there's a lot. This, honestly, I've got the easier job. Let me just say that. So congrats as well go out to her, because we would never reach 40 million views or 250,000 subscribers on this YouTube channel without her help. So I think whoever came up with the Mrs. Asylum might have to make that as a t-shirt for her. I think that's very accurate. Okay, so just continually just bringing that transparent black in. You can see I'm jumping around on my artwork as I usually do. You don't have to do that. So just whichever way you paint is fine. This is just my style. I kind of keep things interesting by doing it. And there is also another reason. It kind of resets your brain. So that way you're not just painting the same stroke. And a lot of the time when you want this to look more organic, you've got to be careful, because if you just stick with painting this area only, you might just do a specific dagger stroke and repeat it and not even realize, and then it just doesn't look real. It looks fake. So jumping around, moving from bit to bit does help. I'm pretty much going to try my best to get the dark tone done so that we're pretty much finished, and then I'll jump into comments and then we will do the draw. Now I've got to think about what to do for next week. Any suggestions? Leave them in the comments. You can see I've left it a lot lighter through here. So darker in these areas. So just keep looking at your reference. Squint your eyes as you're painting as well. What that does, it cuts out all the detail. Just shows you the shapes and shadows, which is important. So a mixture of stippling as well as uneven sort of lines along here, just to get that effect. So going to move now down along, oh, cancel that, move through here and work in this area here just to get a bit more shape. So about 41 people in here at the moment. If you wouldn't mind, if you haven't already, share this out. We're at 1 hour and 18 minutes. Want to get this finished. Get a few more people in here watching would be cool. Again, being very suggestive with this. Nothing too accurate. Just really need to bring in that darker tone. I've got a bit of tip drying happening. So quick fix for that is I've just removed the handle, loosen the locking nut, right? Press down for the air and just pull back a couple of times. You can see how much paint comes out, and then push that needle back. Make sure you retighten that locking nut. Pull back to check to make sure that is correct. Put your handle back on, and then I'll get my bit of cardboard and make sure that it's not trailing anymore, which it isn't. See if I can. Yep, so it's fixed it. So now back to detailing. I have to move the camera. I'll just do that for a sec so you guys can see. Let's get into a better position. Just shading underneath. I just hit that bottom edge there, but I'm not going to go right around it. You want to be careful not to outline everything, because then it'll look cartoony. This is where you could have also masked that out. I'm just going to run a bit of a drop shadow off there just to give it a bit of a 3D appearance. Like so. And spray a bit of unevenness. Do this design here. More texturing. A shade in this area here. And this transparent black, I can still see that gold that I put in from last week shining through. So even though I'm tinting it, it's still got a metallic appearance. You can also use a freehand template as well around the edges if you wish. Now that this part here, and while I'm doing that, for anyone that's interested to learn, we have an online airbrushing course. If you're not aware, I am going to be giving away one later in the stream. You have to be present to win it, but everyone can enter. It's free to enter. And currently it's 25% off until the end of March using coupon code Asylum25 at checkout. So if you want to fast track your airbrushing, then definitely check it out. It'll definitely help you, that's for sure. And it's a course that is designed that you go back to it as well. So it's not like, even though it's got a completion chart on there, when you get to 100%, don't just be like, okay, I've done the course, that's it. The idea is to keep going back to it, especially all the beginners exercises. It becomes essentially your toolbox for your airbrushing journey. So always refer back to it. Plus, the added bonus is you can post progress pictures of your work and you've got access to me, and it doesn't necessarily have to always be relating to the course. You can post in the discussions tab whenever you like and share images of your artwork that may be challenging you. And I'm on there regularly to check those comments because obviously on other platforms, Megs does a great job of getting onto a lot of the comments. And I try and do a few myself, but she does probably 90% of them now because I just can't keep up. So we have to prioritize people that have paid. And yeah, that's why we obviously do these live streams as well. But if you can't be on a live, then the course might be valuable for you because you have all those things in your back pocket as you are trying to learn how to airbrush. And I know how difficult it can be and how daunting it can be when you're first starting. So if you can, now's the time. Don't wait, because the 25% off will end in March. Okay, so all this here, pretty happy with that. Let's turn this off for a minute. So you can see that's looking better. I've got a bit more here that I need to fill in, which I'll do that now. And what did you guys think of me splitting the artwork, like doing a more detailed artwork and splitting it over 1 or 2 streams? Some of the more detailed ones might have to be going over 3 streams because we kind of cap it at 2 hours. Do you prefer that, or do you prefer the let's get it done in 1 stream and do something less detailed? Love to hear your comments. Leave them below. All right, happy with that. Let's move on to the top section now. So I'm just going to get the reference back up here, and I want to zoom up like this and just finish in these areas here. You can see I didn't do the eyebrow, so pretty much just working in along there. So let's get that nice and complete. So again, looking at my reference, but using it as a loose guide. And you can see here, let's zoom in. I just want to show you something. This will be a helpful little tip. See if I can zoom in carefully so it doesn't. All right, let's go over here. All right, I've marked it too. Great. I can show you how to fix that too. You can see how that's just abruptly stopped here. Okay, so what I want to do is to feather that out. It's easy enough to just come along from a distance now and just blend that out that way, okay? So that's an easy way to fix if you've got like a sudden stop, or it, you know, you paint, you shut it off and it leaves a dot, blend it out, okay? Now with this mark, if we look at our reference, so this is pretty funny. It's close, but if we look at our reference here, show you in this section here, there is actually a blemish. So it's a damn shame that it wasn't any closer to that area, but it's, I mean, that's pretty close for accidentally putting a blemish in there. So let me just go ahead and I'll turn that into something. We will bring this over a bit, and I'm just going to deliberately paint that in like so. And I'll run some texture in here as well to mask it and blend that out. And there you have it. It's fixed. So you can't, I mean, you can't tell now. If I come back and scroll back out, oh, sorry, go the other way. If I zoom back out, it just looks like it was always meant to be there. Just don't tell the person that this painting's for. She won't know. All right, so we'll continue on. Guys, leave a queue in front of your questions if you want me to answer them. I'm almost done with this rendering. So then I will jump back in and do the questions, and then we'll also draw the course. When I say draw the course, we're giving away an online course. So access to the course, you will get that for free if you win. and looking ahead of my sharp shadows. Again, went off course a little bit here, that's fine. I'm going to deliberately bring that up and fix it. So wherever there's texture, I'm nice and close. But I don't want to eliminate everything that I've already done. You can see that dark tone, how that really makes things pop. Blend that out. You can see the unevenness is what I'm going for. There's some dot highlights through here, a bit of texture as well. Okay, I'll do some final shading. I'll zoom out on this so you can see. Oh, I think I have zoomed out. Yep. Just reposition this camera like so. Just switch back to this. I'm just going to move this like so. Right, now I get a better understanding of where I'm at. A little bit more shading, but then I think I'm pretty much done. I don't want to overdo it. I'm just lightly dusting on here, and I'm going to put some uneven texture towards the top just to fill in that gap. Really deliberate shading on the timber panel to make it look uneven. Okay, so yes, you could come back in and hit it with some extra highlights and bits and pieces, but I'm going to just shade over this a little bit more, but I think ultimately I'm pretty happy with that. I don't want to overdo it. I need to bring some shading in here. To shape the white section. Same through here. Just squinting my eye and checking it. Okay. All right, let's get into some comments. Let me just I'll call that done, I reckon. So just going to move that for a sec so you can see. You can probably still see the shimmering of that gold. That was the GAAHLERI Flashy Gold by KALEIDO. So GAAHLERI KALEIDO paints. So you can see a bit of detailing, but not over the top. But nice, fun one to do. Right, hang on a sec. Now let's get into some comments. Okay. Rightio. I'll look for some cues in here. Okay, lots of chatting going on. So 47 people in here, so thank you very much. Okay. It's looking. Sorry, while I look, a huge thank you again to Body Shop Paint Supplies in Seaford. We've got Clayton. Thanks for joining again from Hawaii. Appreciate you and appreciate the shout out regarding hitting the like button. Thank you very much. Yes, UK weather is random too. Yep, I agree. We actually visited UK as well when we did our trip. Loved it. It was great. Someone watching from Twitch, Just a Worm. The eye is looking very eye-ish. Thank you. Thank you. That means I've done my job. Okay. Yeah, Dragon Course is coming soon. So I think we'll be on for next week. Megs we had a bit of a meeting about this yesterday. We might have to schedule out a week of live stream. So depending on what I come up with for next week, if it's a one task live, then I potentially will do it. But yeah, we'll let you guys know anyway, but I might have to miss a week of live streaming just so that I can really be blocked out completely out of my calendar and focus on editing the Dragon Course, because I've been trying to do bit by bit, and it's just incredibly difficult. There's a lot of work that goes into these courses. It's not just about just getting the videos in there. I've got to have all the descriptions, all the reference images, and basically everything that needs to go in, and it takes time. So I think the beginner's course took me 3 to 4 weeks of basically from start to finish of solid, like they were 12 to 14 hour days. At the time we only had one child, and Megs actually went and visited her family in the Northern Territory at that time. So in the outback, they were over there for a bit, and they stayed there for a good 3 to 4 weeks so that I could just wake up in the morning, go to bed late, and just crank it out. That was the only way it was going to get done. Okay, question from Brian. How do you get over the loss of inspiration? I get burnt out on a painting, the same old. Yeah, I do get that. I don't have it's hard to say. I don't do commissions anymore, so I don't spend the time on paintings like I used to. The channel, obviously, for YouTube, for those of you that watch it, the beginner stuff goes really well. That's kind of where I'm positioned now. Doing sort of more basic artwork, I find as well, does better on the channel. Obviously, Skulls and Flames does well, but all the beginners' techniques and just even some of the unboxings do well. So I tend to do artworks now. If I sort of can finish an artwork within 3 to 5 hours, I'm happy with that. If it starts getting into 10 to 20 or 30 hours, then it becomes a lot more, not draining, but it's just, how do you put it? It's to try and stay focused and pumped about it. So the dragon artwork, you can sort of see, point that way. That one there, the dragon artwork took quite a while. Like, I don't know. I don't even know how many hours, to be honest. I lost track. I could probably figure it out if I went through all the footage, but I'd say well over 20 hours of work just to paint that one. Brian's saying, how about a hummingbird? Yeah, interesting. Steampunk, yes, I'm a big fan of that. Underwater sea life, yeah, that'd be cool. Corals, yeah, maybe that's a good idea. Someone's suggesting a tarantula or big scorpion, that'd be fun. Biomech battle crab, yeah, that'd be cool. Very cool. Okay, so I've got some good suggestions in here, just going through. Someone said, if only we knew someone that could paint a Mrs. Asylum shirt. Yes. Maybe that'll have to be a live stream. Okay. Okay, another question. Starting materials, equipment, how much can set up? Okay, so setup, generally, what I'd recommend is spend the money on the airbrush if you can. You don't have to spend ridiculous amounts, but let's say you've got a budget, right? So let's say you've got, I don't know, $500. If some of the compressors can be so expensive, that might eliminate your whole budget. If you've already got a compressor, use that. It doesn't have to be a specific airbrushing compressor. So that's number one. So if you've got a large workshop compressor and you can put it somewhere where it's not noisy, so if you're not living in an apartment or something like that and you can get away with it, then go with something like that. Then put the money into the airbrush and get yourself some paints. I'd probably start with like a primary paint set, whatever brand you wish. But yeah, spend the money on the airbrush. That's what I'd recommend. And if you don't need to, don't bother about the compressor, okay? Just going. Looking. Okay, so good question. James Jordan, after you're done with your paintings, do you put them up somewhere or sell them off? If so, how much? This is a great question and a chance for me to show you. So this one here, this Eye of Ra, Meg's wanted this one. So my wife, who's actually in the comments now, so Mrs. Asylum. So that one won't be up for sale. I'm playing a bit of catch up with the others, but let me just show you. If I go into our website, if you click over here and you go to shop and you go to my original paintings, then you'll see the past paintings. So this one here, you've got 1 day left if you want to jump in on that price there and put a bid in. You've probably got a good chance of winning because no one's bid on it. So that was the skull with blue fire that I did. So all of the live stream paintings, yes, they will end up here. Once that ends, so if you don't sort of jump on for the bidding price, then it will jump up to this sort of pricing here. Okay, so you're going to be paying a bit extra. This is still cheap. So back when I was doing commissions, I'd easily charge $1,000 to do a canvas, no problem at all. So you're still getting a great deal. Everything's signed. There's obviously only one off, and you've got the video to refer back to. So it's your chance to win to buy the original. If, for argument's sake, this ends, or if you can't place your bid because you're overseas, because I don't know how this is going to work with shipping as yet. But if you have trouble putting your bid in, then just reach out to us at. Let me just get that up for you. Hang on a sec. Reach out to us at info@airbrushisylum.com.au and I'll get you a price on shipping and we'll ship it to you. No problem at all. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. So that's how you can grab one of our artworks if you're interested. All right, back to comments. So thanks for that question. I'm looking for another question, and then I will go into doing the draw. Sorry. Everyone's suggesting things, so I appreciate that. Just scanning. This is why it's important to put a Q in front, because it makes it easier for me to look. Okay, I'm a fair way back. I'm just trying to speed up a bit because I don't want you guys to get bored. I think I've got most of it done. A lot of people are liking it, so thank you. Someone that's just joined, Ria Shea, hello all. Hello to you. Thanks for joining. Appreciate you. Sorry, guys. I know this is a bit boring, but here we are. As of the Aussie, fellow Aussie, good to see you. Why don't you do a dragon next week for a pre-promo for your dragon course? That's a good suggestion, actually. I like that. I like it. Maybe, yeah. I don't know. I'll think of something. Just flicking through for another question. Almost through all these comments. Dial Wolf says Frazetta style dragon. That'd be kind of cool. I love Frazetta's work. All right. Let's get into giving away the course. Right, so I need to explain first. All right, so this is our online course for anyone that's interested. Hang on 2 seconds. I've just got to turn these comments off. Currently, it is 25% off. Let me show you first what's included. So there's a video here that you can watch that will take you to the YouTube video. We've got some reviews here if you're unsure and you want to hear from what other people are saying. Going down here, why the course, it'll explain everything. 39 videos currently, 4 hours and 40 minutes of tutorials plus 8 text lessons. This is the curriculum. So part of the free preview is how to use and navigate the course, gives you a bit of an insight. Then welcome to the course about the instructor. And then a few basics before we get started. You've got the course material list, which is free preview, health and safety, compressor info, cutaway diagram of an airbrush, airbrush type, single and double action, airbrushes, gravity or siphon, 3 main factors in airbrushing, how to hold your airbrush, PSI, compressor tips, connecting your brush, mixing paint and reducer, tip drying, how to clean your airbrush, and how to disassemble and reassemble. So all very, very important things. Then you go into basic exercises. I talk about the grid book, which is something that you'll be familiar with if you're in the course. We do the warm-up, shaded dots, fine dots, dots fine to large, dots large to fine, shaded lines, lines and columns, which is the ladder exercise, crosshatch, dagger strokes, thin to thick, dagger strokes, thick to thin, UFO strokes, and circles with shadows. Then in special effects, you do granite, space, whitewash timber panels, and brick. And then with the feature artwork, you do mixing transparent black, where we do a black and gray skull. Paper template. So this will show you how to, you've got reference images in the course. This will show you how to print those and use those to create your artwork without even sketching it on. Do the gray underpainting, white highlights, black detailing, and final white highlights. And then for the color skull, I'll show you how to mix a bone color using primary colors, how to use transparent tones, making the paper templates again. And again, there's a video for that. The underpainting, sepia detailing, and adding transparent tones, highlights, transparent black detailing, right? So now I do plan on doing some updates. I have been saying that for a while, but you guys can get grandfathered into the current pricing. It will go up once those updates are done. So this will probably jump, because I haven't had a price rise for about 5 years. So this will probably go to about $250. Currently, though, you can get this even cheaper. So we're trying to get as many people in as possible. So if you come over here and you say, I have a coupon, because you do, because you've watched this stream and we've given it to you. You go Asylum 25, hit apply, and hey presto, you're only paying $149.25 USD, right? Make sure that you use the coupon. If that still, when you go to pay, if it says still $199, you haven't done it correctly, reach out to us. It's a little bit more complicated on the phone, so if you can do it on desktop and follow these instructions, otherwise reach out to us. Okay, always happy to help, and you can do that via info. You can do that via info@airbrushisylum.com.au. And Megs just put that up too in the comments, right? So that is that part of it. Now, let me go back out for a sec to here. Okay, so for the person who wins, we're going to do the draw in a second. If you do win, don't hit this buy button. Hit this button, free preview, okay? Fill in all your details and sign up. And then basically what will happen is you will be enrolled. I'll see your enrollment, and then I can activate your enrollment going forward for you into the, basically activate you into the full course if you win. Right. Now I'm going to switch to this. And this is the keyword that you guys need to type into the comments now. So hashtag body shop in the comments if you wish to be in the draw to win our course. Hashtag body shop. And this is a shout out, obviously, for our sponsor, Body Shop Paint Supplies in Seaford. So if you're interested to enter, all you need to do is type in hashtag body shop in the comments, wherever you're watching from. You can do this on Facebook. You can do this anywhere where you can type. Put in hashtag body shop. You can see we've got some entries coming in. It's not case sensitive, so it doesn't matter if you do it in capitals or lowercase, whatever. Just hashtag body shop. And we will be giving away a live stream. A live stream. No, we're not. We'll be giving away an online course to a lucky winner. And appreciate all of you for watching and sticking around. So we're going to give you a bit more time to do that. Got 16 entries so far, so it's pretty good odds. We've got 37 people watching at the moment. So keep going. Hashtag body shop. We'll get a few more. See if we can get to 20 entries. Until then, I'll just switch to this. We'll go back to that in a minute. I'll see if I can find any other questions that I can answer. Okay. Oh, thank you. Airbrush is really beautiful. Appreciate that. And yes, that email is for product info. We can help you. So no dramas at all, okay? So anyone from anywhere in the world, if you want anything from us, then you can reach out. Okay, I'm just switching through. So I'm just looking. We're at 18 entries, guys. 18. Let me just show you. 18 so far. So if we can get to 20, that'd be cool. And then I can hit the draw button. Let's see if we can get to 20. There's 38 of you in here. There must be another 2 people in here that'll want to win a course. I mean, if you win it and you don't want it, you can always, you can still get it, and then someone else in your family might want to enjoy it. So, it doesn't necessarily have to be you, but obviously the person who wins has to contact us with their username. So I'm going to give you a couple more seconds to do that. So another 17 seconds, and then I'm going to hit draw if we don't get any more entries. So 10 seconds to go. So anyone else interested, you've got time, 10 seconds, hashtag body shop to enter into the draw. Yeah, one more. Can we get one more entry? Can we make it 20 even? A few more seconds. No. Okay. I'm going to hit draw. Here we go. And the winner is, dun, 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 let's see how we go. I want to see if I can do. Ooh. The winner is Ricky Robinson. Let's see if we can do a bit of an applause. Congratulations. You have won our online course. What I need you to do is reach out to us at info@airbrushisylum.com.au. And I'm assuming that your username will be Ricky Robinson when you sign into the course. So I will look out for that as well. But if you can please sign up, as I just explained. If you missed it, then scroll back. But yeah, sign up and I can then activate that for you. But congratulations again to Ricky. And here is the completed Eye of Ra. So again, thank you very much to each and every one of you who've watched through this two-part series. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll give you another close-up. And I will put those other artworks from previous streams on the auction site. So for anyone that's interested to purchase. And a huge thank you again to Body Shop Paint Supplies in Seaford. If you wouldn't mind, give them a follow on Instagram at Body Shop Paint Supplies. Really appreciate you showing them some love. And until next week, if things change, we'll let you know. But otherwise, until next week, thanks again for watching. Appreciate each and every one of you. And bye for now. Go grab your airbrush, do some amazing artwork yourself, and I'll see you again very, very soon in the next live stream. Catch you later. See you guys.